formed a human shield around Mr. Coke and escorted him to the helicopter. He was then whisked away in what some have described as a strategic police operation. It included members of the Spanish Town Criminal Investigative Branch, the Radio Car Patrol Unit, and the Special Operations Team from the St. Catherine South Division. A police source informed us that Coke had completely shaved his head, and when they intercepted the car, he appeared fearful at first, but he later appeared to trust the police and even commented on their professionalism. Delona Fleming, CVM News.
Now, meanwhile, the police sought to provide details on Mr. Coke's capture at a hastily called press conference this evening.
They weren't able to provide details on many of the burning questions needing answers, though.
Dwayne Burbick was at the police commissioner's office and now joins us on set. Dwayne?
Thank you, Janella. Thank you, Curlin. Now, it was a brief press conference hastily called, as we mentioned, to confirm what many Jamaicans had been hearing all afternoon. Fugitive Christopher Dudus Coke is now in police custody.
Arrested by a party of policemen manning a legal checkpoint along the Mandela Highway.
He didn't tell us whether or not other persons were captured along with it, and steps are being made to have Coke before the courts.
Presentation and to regional commissions on where the hearings will be held, a court date will be set, and we anticipate that we can achieve that within 48 hours.
In the meantime, the police dismissed any suggestion that there was a plan within the ranks of the constabulary force for Mr. Coke to be handed in. Mr. Ellington asserted that it was the police's own intelligence that led to Christopher Coke's capture.
Ask each individually if they were party to any discussion or agreement for the bypassing of the legal processes for Coke to be turned over to U.S. Marshals. Each officer responded in the negative.
And the police say they have an interest in the Reverend Al Miller, who was with Coke at the time of his capture. The question was asked, though, if Reverend Miller was with Coke at the time.
Policemen on the ground at the time that was done. However, from our needs to come in and speak with us, because there are some questions that he needs to answer.
Now, Mr. Ellington said that today's activities are now the subject of a police investigation at the highest level. Now, many persons wanted to know whether or not the $5 million reward will be issued. That, the Commissioner says, will form part of the intense investigation, along with a determination as to whether or not Mr. Coke will be charged locally in connection with damage to police stations and other state property during the May 24 operation. And as soon as those investigations have been completed, Mr. Ellington said we will be provided with an update. Now, members of the police force have also been placed on high alert, as the police say they are anticipating some amount of reprisal to Mr. Coke's capture. Curlin, Janella.
Thanks, Dwayne. Meanwhile, as news of Coke's capture spread, our news team sought
relieved, they say, because they had feared he would have been killed based on the controversial circumstances of his case.
Prefer to give up himself.
And I'm glad. And why him do this to him do this for him people don't get him away. I'm not talking about all the man and we as actually.
So now that the man who is widely known as the president in West Kingston is now in police custody, the residents believe it's now time for the security forces to exit their community.
So them to go home now and leave we near now in peace. It's like all Jamaica. One and only presidents like that. What about the security force? Why them not leave?
Well, that Coke will be vindicated.
I will not see me now because for them they kill him father, you know. So I will pray us pray.
Director of Public Prosecutions, as they move to Christopher Coke's brother Leighton Levy, better known as Liberty, a senior police officer, are looking at several cases in which Liberty could be charged. Meanwhile, Liberty could soon be slapped with his first charge of shooting with intent in connection with the incidents during the West Kingston an identification parade, and is set to face
in their efforts to rid the country of criminal elements. This as the state of emergency